as we listen to the lovely sounds of my cat tearing up furniture.
Well, I got a couple of snoozing dogs over here, so I'm hoping they remain that way. Oh, what's your cat's name?
Morrow.
He or she?
He he's
Yeah.
named for the rambunctious behavior in early Cory Morrow albums.
Oh, good. Yeah, I like that. That's really great.
Well, I believe I'll finish the interview with him on my lap.
That's totally fine with me.
Let's get back. We're here with Cory Reinisch of Harvest Thieves. The new album is As the Sparks Fly Upward. And the final track, let's get away from the politics for a bit. We're going to talk about is called Friendly Fire. Um, I like this song because number one, you're trying to chart your path and dealing with all of your issues and whatnot. Number two, I have a philosophy where I don't want anyone to have control over me, but I also feel incredibly weird about having control over anyone else. And I feel like this song strikes that balance. So, well, okay. Come on, Mr. Cat. Do not turn on the music. Um, anyway, what does it feel like to you uh, thinking about possibly falling into a traditional 9 to 5 type of role?
Yeah. I appreciate your insight on that because I think you hit pretty close to the center of what I was trying to convey. So I'm glad to hear that you you think that when or those thoughts are evoked when you hear that song. Um, so like I said, I came from a really a rural traditional background, conservative here in Texas, and you know, it, going out and pursuing music is not your typical way of life, and I've sort of had to deal with raised eyebrows and questions uh my entire life, and that's fine. I mean, I was always going to do what I was going to do, and that's what this song is about, is kind of recognizing that, struggling through the doubt, and then also maybe setting aside what other people's opinions are of you, because in the end of the day they don't matter, and if what you're pursuing is worthwhile and you have any sort of capacity to do it or talent to do it, then you should. And I'm not specifically even talking about myself. I'm just saying we all have to carve our own paths in life at some point, and that's sort of what this song is about. It's also about getting in your own way and being your own worst enemy at times and overcoming that. So I think there was a simultaneous theme there. I mean, obviously the song is called Friendly Fire. So uh, I think that I struggled a lot with deciding to pursue music full time, and probably did it a little later in life than I would have wanted to. But I've also found a balance. I mean, I work at Waterloo Records here in Austin, and that is a 9 to 5 to me, but it's in music and it's around artists and bands and performers that I love. And I get to immerse myself in that while earning a salary as well. So, in its current form, my work life has dovetailed nicely with my creative life. So for that, I'm very thankful. And I've been doing that for about 7 years now. So um, it affords me the time off to play, and it also affords me the money to pay rent. So I've sort of landed in a good spot for myself. But it took a while to get there. So there are challenges along the way, as there are with anything that's worthwhile. So that's what this song is about.
I'm glad you get to work around music. I'm finally, after a very long time, figuring out how to have fun at work and not
Sure.
just sort of uh, maybe it's making me quote unquote feel like the bad man, like you mentioned in that
Yeah.
song, when I'm being ridiculous. But some people appreciate it, and that's I think what matters is if you learn how to learn how to make every part of your life at least some form, or at least manipulate every part of your life so that it affords you some kind of happiness so you don't get too drained.
I think you're onto something there. That's a very good point.
Um, so Waterloo Records, who is your favorite person to be working with?
Who is my favorite person to be working with
Yeah.
at Waterloo? You as in my coworkers?
As in musicians.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, I was fortunate to take over the marketing director position about 2 years, almost 2.5 years ago. And so that afforded me the ability to book all the events and the performers that actually come in and play the store. So that's a tough question for me to answer because I've been able to book so many things that I found fascinating and just personally enjoy myself. Uh, Last year we booked South by Southwest again. We actually had our showcases back. We took 3 years off during the pandemic, and I got to book a lot of my favorite bands. Someone who stands out, I'm sure you're aware of the Deslons out of New Orleans. I was able to book them. They're incredible. I've always loved that band. Uh, Robert Earl Keen put out a box set this last year in the early summer, and he came in and packed the store out and played. And he had retired, so he sort of he made a concession for us, and it was really special. And then maybe the coolest thing I've done since I've been in that position is Lucinda Williams came in and played set about 2 or 3 months ago. And so I was able to coordinate all that and meet her and visit with her for a while. So those are just three examples. There's a ton, but those are some that sort of stand out in my mind right off the bat. But that's sort of what I mean with this job affording me that sort of experience. And so I don't know. You talked about being happy at work. When those are good days. So
I would certainly be happy at that job.
yeah,
I would. I'm coming for it.
yeah,
No, I'm happy where I am, but if for any reason I'm ever not, you have a pretty good one.
yeah. That's true.
I always like to end my show by having the guest pick a song. I'll give you a little prompt. Only rule is you can't have had anything to do with the creation of the song.
Okay.
For you, it's going to be a song that you helped get played in Waterloo Records.
That I helped get played in Waterloo Records. Let's see. Uh, so I did not have anything to do with the creation of this song. But one of my really good friends who works at Waterloo Records as well. That's another really cool thing about Waterloo is that a lot of artists and musicians and songwriters pass through the doors of employment there as well. So we all get to congregate at work. And I don't know, most of the times in my life, when I'm in a room full of songwriters, that's when it's the most fun. So to answer your question, my buddy's name is Gus Ochoa, and he has a band called Town Lake, and they're here in Austin. And during the pandemic, we were trying to update our sound system while we had the opportunity, and we bought a new soundboard. So I was able to get Town Lake in, and we did a streaming set and had a lot of people watch it. And it was a time when no one was able to play, and so it was sort of special that they got to put the band together and come in and play on a really good sound system, and then also have an audience. So I I always loved that moment. That was cool. So that's my answer. And the
A
song
new
is called
song.
Homesick. Homesick is the song. Yeah.
Homesick by Town Lake. All
Yeah.
right. Cory Reinisch, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Well, thank you, Trevor. I really enjoyed speaking with you.
New album is As the Sparks Fly Upward from the Harvest Thieves.